it's funny, like, timelines and how we think we have this much time, and then we look at our, phone or whatever and realize that like it's gone by. The same works for us as like our physical bodies and like we're only here for a short time and we spin out of control over stupid shit when we don't need to.
Right.
So my daughter the other day sends me a text about a rock. So my daughter's in college. She's studying geology. She loves rocks. She loves rocks. So she's going to be an amazing geologist. So she's got this rock that she picked up a couple weekends ago out in West Texas in Big Bend, and she's crying over it. And she's telling me I've been crying over this rock, and that's how I started my morning. And I'm like, must be like a geology thing. So I'm like,
You're like, okay.
all right. So I'm like, oh, like, is there something special about the rock? And she says, no. The rock is proof that the time that we have here on Earth, because this rock is 2.5 billion years old, it's proof that the time we have here on Earth is precious as humans. We're not here for 2.5 billion plus. We're here for 70-ish, give or take. Some people make it longer, some people don't. So in that time, like, why are we spinning out over the stupid stuff? Why are we allowing ourselves to get worked up over, whatever the 30 pounds that I have managed to put on in the last 6 months, or getting twisted up that my boobs are down here and not up here anymore. And or worrying about some person who didn't like you and started a revolt against you. Why are we getting ourselves twisted up over these things? In the grand scheme, they're inconsequential. And so
Yeah.
this is coming from my 22-year-old that I really should just like let her go, because she comes up with stuff like that. She was absolutely right. So she said, it's because it was the weekend. She said, I'm going to spend this weekend doing everything and anything that just makes me happy. And I was like, you go over. Wow.
Yeah. Well, and that's so true because it's I have a good friend of mine struggling. His mom has dementia, and there's just that always brings its own set of issues. And then you've got siblings and things like that, and everybody has a different thought process and various things, and and we've known each other for like 40 some years. So so we. I can tell him things and he can say things to me. And I mean, I don't mean rude or disrespectful, but it's like,
Right.
look, and so he's got some rental properties and different things. And I was like, look, I said, here's the thing. And I said, best case scenario, you're going to live to be as old as your mom, which his mom's 85. I said, I'm going to live to be as old as my dad, which is 84. I said, if we think about that, I said, that gives us 23 more years. Are we going to spend the next 23 years of our life all twisted up and worried about what the fuck other people think? Or are we going to actually just go, oh, yeah, that actually doesn't matter?
Yeah.
And find the trip people and spend the time with the people that you enjoy spending time with.
Yes.
Doing the things that you enjoy. Because that's kind of piggybacks on what your daughter said, right? And it's so true. We get so wound up about, this, that, or the other thing. And who cares?
Who cares?
I mean, we do, and I get it. And I don't mean we shouldn't care, but, as humans, we just have this paradigm of what we think should or shouldn't happen and when it should or shouldn't happen. And,
Oh yeah.
various things, timelines and things like that.
Or
and it's fun.
the judgment of others. I saw this video today and it was so cute. It made me cry. It was a series of like older couples together. And something I noticed in this like little segment of videos, it was a lot of them had older couples like out in public, just like somewhere dancing. Somebody would be, doing like a, guitar, in a whatever subway. And there were two old people just kind of like holding each other and dancing. And, or, a band is playing and the only people dancing are the older people. And it's not,
Right.
and it's because, you know why? Because they know that their time is limited. and that they want to do the things that make them happy. So let's get up and let's dance. Jeff last night, I don't know why, he played Monster Mash song on Mrs. A. I don't want to say her name.
Oh,
And so we didn't get up out of the couch, but we both sat there and we were just like
oh my gosh, that's fun. The mash. She loves the mash, the monster dash. I know. Well, that's like one of my grandsons, like what I don't even know what the name of it is because he calls it something else and I can't even remember what he calls it, but it's the one from I think the Halloween movie is that Jack Sparrow? I don't remember.
oh, Jack Skellington, This Is Halloween.
Jack Skellington. He likes whatever that song is. So
Yeah.
he always wants it doesn't matter what time of year it is. He wants to hear that song. He just loves it. Now he knows the words and it's so cute to hear his little voice sing all those words because he's only 3.5. So he's got that little voice and it's so cute, And so it's like, I think what happens is that when we get to be that age, when we get to be that older age, we remember what that 3-year-old child really loved to do. And didn't care. And that's the one thing that I really appreciate about my grandchildren, the younger ones. They don't care. They're just going to jump on you. They're going to sit on you.
I was gonna say, well, you've got your Daredevil one that like she doesn't care, and I don't think even whatever age she is in the future, she still won't care.
No, and I love her for that. Like she's probably going to give her parents a run for their money, but she's just got you know what I mean? You could, and I can even see that. Like, my daughter-in-law, her mom is actually a junior high school teacher also, and she's taking a break right now because they've got 4 kids, and she's got 4 under 6, so it's kind of a lot. And so at any rate, but when you can remember when you see them when they get older, and you're like, that child that's driving you bananas right now used to be 3.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, they were so cute. And so like when my students get all twisted and I'm like, I'm like, oh, but they were 3 once and they were so cute. And their moms and dads just loved them. And you know what I mean? So you just kind of go and, and so it's just like, I don't know. It's kind of looking at like, where do we just be?
Yeah, I agree. I don't have it figured out. I'm friends with you. I know you don't have it figured out.
No, not at all. No.
Every single day we're trying. We're like putting these little elements into play to see like, does this work? Like, is this working for me? If I'm more consistent with this, will it work for me? That sort of thing. And definitely gonna learn from your things that don't work. So like down on yourself for what doesn't stick. At least now what is it, Thomas Edison, about how many tries it took him to make the light bulb, and then they were like, well, you wasted all these tries, and he goes, no, I learned X amount of times that it didn't work until the one time that it did.